Once you turn 65, life begins to shift in ways you might never have imagined. For some, this new chapter is a time of thriving, feeling healthier, happier, and more fulfilled than ever before. They wake up each morning with a sense of excitement, confidence, and peace, finally free to enjoy the fruits of decades of hard work. But for others, the experience can be very different. They find themselves waking up each day feeling uncertain, unmotivated, and even a little lost. The routines that once brought structure and meaning to life begin to fade, and without something new to replace them, the days can start to blur together, bringing with them feelings of loneliness, frustration, or even regret. The difference between these two paths isn't just a matter of luck or circumstance. It often comes down to whether or not you've built the right foundation for this stage of life. At 65 and beyond, having the right support systems in place for your health, your mindset, and your emotional well-being is absolutely critical. It's not about luxury. It's not about chasing unrealistic dreams. It's about making sure you're surrounded by what truly matters, the essential elements that nourish your body, mind, and spirit. In this video, we're going to explore 5 things you absolutely need after 65 to avoid slipping into a life that feels stagnant or unfulfilling. These 5 essentials can help you create a life that feels rich with purpose, connection, and joy, even in the face of change or uncertainty. These aren't just nice-to-haves. They are the pillars of a meaningful and rewarding life. Sadly, too many people don't realize they're missing them until it's too late. Until they wake up one day wondering how things got so dull, disconnected, or overwhelming. Before we begin, if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. If you enjoy this video, please type 1 in the comments. If you don't like it, type 0 in the comments to let me know so I can make better videos for you. Now let's get started. With number 1, a strong sense of purpose. After 65, life often enters a new phase with a different rhythm. For decades, most people have been caught in the whirlwind of daily responsibilities, raising children, building careers, managing a household, meeting deadlines, and constantly staying on the move. Life has structure, direction, and clearly defined roles. You wake up each morning knowing exactly what's expected of you, what you need to do, and where you need to be. But when retirement begins or when the kids leave the nest, that structured routine can suddenly dissolve. What once felt like a steady and predictable life now becomes a vast expanse of open time. The routines that anchored your days fade away, and along with them a sense of identity and purpose can quietly slip through the cracks. It's in this quiet, unstructured space that many people begin to feel unexpectedly lost. The thing is, we often tie our sense of self-worth and direction to our roles, whether as employees, parents, or caretakers. When those roles change or disappear, we're left with the question, who am I now? That's why having a renewed sense of purpose after 65 is not just important, it's absolutely essential. Without it, the days can start to feel aimless, less fulfilling. Motivation can fade, and over time, even your physical and mental health may begin to suffer. A sense of purpose doesn't just give you something to do, it gives you a reason to live fully. Think about your own mornings. What drives you to get out of bed? Is there something you're excited about? Something that fills your day with intention? Or do you find yourself unsure how to spend your time, watching the hours go by without much engagement? Studies consistently show that individuals with a strong sense of purpose tend to live longer, experience fewer chronic illnesses, and report higher levels of emotional well-being. It's not just about staying busy, it's about staying engaged in something that makes you feel like your life still matters. That feeling of contribution is vital for your spirit, and research backs it up. People who feel like they have a meaningful role in the world have better overall health, lower levels of depression, and even more energy. Purpose is fuel for the soul. It's what propels you forward. Take, for example, someone like Helen. She spent over 40 years working as a teacher, dedicating her life to educating children and helping them grow. When she retired at 66, she initially looked forward to the freedom. No more early mornings, no more staff meetings, no more grading papers. At first, it was a well-deserved break, but over time, that break started to feel more like a void. The structure she once had was gone, and with it, the sense of fulfillment that came from making a difference. The days began to blur together. She missed feeling like her time had value, like she was actively contributing to something meaningful. Then one afternoon, while visiting the local library, She saw a flyer seeking volunteer reading mentors for elementary school children. At first, she hesitated. Could she still handle it? Did she have the energy or patience? But after a bit of thought, she decided to give it a try. Within weeks, Helen was back in her element, engaging young minds, sharing stories, and seeing the joy in the children's eyes when they finally grasped a new concept. That small decision sparked a renewed energy in her. It gave her a reason to wake up with excitement again. And more importantly, it reminded her that she still had so much to offer. Helen's story illustrates something incredibly important. Your sense of purpose doesn't have to be tied to your old job or a professional skill set. Your purpose can evolve with you. It might show up in volunteering, mentoring, or dedicating your time to a cause that's meaningful to you. It could be through creative pursuits like writing, painting, or music, or even taking up a new hobby that challenges you. Gardening, learning a new language, helping your grandchildren with their schoolwork, or getting involved in community service can all become sources of purpose. The key is to engage in something that gives you a sense of meaning, a feeling that your time matters and that your presence makes a difference in the lives of others. When you have this sense of purpose, each day becomes an opportunity. Not just another repetitive day, but a chance to grow, to contribute, to enjoy the life you've worked so hard for. The beautiful thing about purpose is that it doesn't have an expiration date. Whether you're 65, 75, or 85, it's never too late to discover or rediscover what brings meaning to your life. Purpose isn't something you retire from. It's something you evolve with. As you age, your purpose may shift or transform, but the need for it remains. And when you embrace a new or renewed sense of purpose, the years ahead no longer feel like a slow winding down. Number 2 on our list is something that often gets overlooked but is absolutely vital: meaningful social connections. One of the most common and harmful mistakes people make after 65 is unintentionally withdrawing from others. It often doesn't happen all at once. Retirement might mean no more daily chats with coworkers. Friends may move to different cities to be closer to their children or seek new adventures. Family members, though well-meaning, can become preoccupied with their own busy lives, raising kids, building careers, and handling their own responsibilities. And before you know it, the lively, connected social circle you once had starts to fade into something quieter, sometimes too quiet. While solitude in small doses can be healthy, even necessary, it's important to remember that we are wired for connection. Prolonged isolation isn't just emotionally painful, it can be physically dangerous. In fact, researchers have found that chronic loneliness can increase the risk of serious health issues like high blood pressure, heart disease, weakened immune function, depression, and even dementia. Some studies have gone so far as to compare the long-term effects of loneliness to smoking 15 cigarettes a day. And perhaps the most alarming part? Many people don't even recognize it's happening until it's deeply affecting them. They convince themselves that they're just enjoying their independence or that they prefer their own company. But over time, they laugh less, engage less, and slowly begin to shrink their world without even realizing it. Let me introduce you to someone like George, a 74-year-old retired electrician who had always considered himself a bit of a loner. After his wife passed and his children moved out of state, he settled into a quiet life at home. He watched a lot of TV, puttered around the garage, and told himself he was content. But the truth was, days began to blur into one another. He stopped answering phone calls. He stopped fixing things around the house. He even began losing interest in his favorite woodworking projects. His spark was fading. One day, while picking up a few groceries, a neighbor invited him to a weekly community breakfast at the local senior center. George hesitated at first. He hadn't been around a crowd in years, but something told him to give it a shot. That one small decision ended up changing his life. He started going regularly, reconnected with old acquaintances, and met people who shared his interests. He even helped start a weekly woodworking club for retired hobbyists. Suddenly, he had conversations to look forward to, people to laugh with, and stories to share. His appetite returned. His projects resumed. And most importantly, so did his sense of belonging. The truth is, social connection doesn't have to mean constant outings or being the life of the party. It's not about how many people you know. It's about the quality of the relationships you maintain. A few genuine friends, a regular phone call with your siblings, a weekly card game, or even sharing a cup of tea with a neighbor can make a world of difference. What matters most is consistency and emotional closeness. the feeling that someone sees you, hears you, and cares. If you've noticed yourself pulling away from others or spending more time alone than you'd like, don't be afraid to take the first step toward reconnecting. Join a class, sign up for a local club, volunteer at a place that matters to you, or simply reach out to someone you haven't spoken to in a while. That one brave moment of connection might open the door to a whole new chapter of friendship and joy. Because life, especially after 65, is not meant to be lived in isolation. It's meant to be shared. With laughter, with stories, with companionship. And the beauty is, no matter your age or circumstances, it's never too late to build or rebuild those meaningful connections. And if you've made it this far in the video and this message resonates with you, comment number 2 below so I know you're still with me. And of course, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an episode. We're here to bring you uplifting, helpful content to keep your spirit strong and your life vibrant. Number 3 is a big one, and it's something we often take for granted until it's slipping away: physical strength and mobility. After the age of 65, the way you care for your body directly affects the amount of freedom, independence, and joy you'll be able to experience in the years to come. Many people fall into the trap of thinking that getting slower, weaker, or more fatigued is just an unavoidable part of aging. But here's the truth. Most people don't talk about losing physical strength and mobility isn't only about aging. It's about what you aren't doing to maintain your body. And if you don't take action to prioritize your physical health now, it will absolutely catch up with you later. The decline doesn't come all at once. It sneaks in slowly, quietly. Maybe at first it's just needing to sit down more often when you used to stand for hours, or feeling a little more sore than usual after carrying groceries. Maybe the stairs feel steeper than they did before. These seem like small things, easy to ignore, but over time they add up. Suddenly, the things that used to be effortless, standing from a chair, going for a walk around the block, climbing into your car, even opening a stubborn jar, start to feel like real challenges. And once mobility is lost, it can be extremely difficult to regain. That's why it's so important to act before the decline becomes a crisis. Let me tell you about someone like Elaine, a 70-year-old former teacher who always considered herself pretty healthy, but never made time for regular exercise. When she retired, she traded her busy school days for long afternoons, reading on the couch and baking for her grandchildren. She thought she was just relaxing, enjoying the quiet life she had earned. But within a year, things began to change. She started waking up with stiff joints. Her balance felt off. She avoided walks with her friends because her knees ached, and stairs became something she dreaded. One day, while trying to carry laundry upstairs, she lost her balance and fell. Not because the stairs were too steep, but because her body simply wasn't strong enough to support her anymore. That fall shook her, not just physically, but emotionally. She realized she wasn't just slowing down, she was slowly giving up her independence. That was her wake-up call. The good news? Strength and mobility can be improved at any age. Science backs this up. Studies have shown that seniors who engage in regular strength training and physical activity have dramatically lower risks of falls, improved heart and lung health, and even enhanced brain function. It doesn't take hours in a gym or intense routines either. In fact, simple daily movements can be life-changing. Just 20 minutes of walking a day can keep your cardiovascular system strong. Light strength training, things like squats, leg raises, or lifting small hand weights, can preserve muscle mass, improve bone density, and help you stay active and capable. Balance exercises, such as standing on one foot or using a stability ball, can help prevent falls and improve coordination. And here's something a lot of people don't realize. Losing muscle doesn't just mean getting weaker. It also slows down your metabolism, lowers your energy levels, and compromises your immune system. That means gaining weight becomes easier, staying energized becomes harder, and recovering from illness or injury can take much longer. So how do you start if you've been inactive for a while? Start small. Take a walk every morning, even if it's just around the block. Do some stretches while watching TV. Try gentle resistance exercises with resistance bands or light weights. The goal isn't to become a bodybuilder. It's to keep your body strong enough to do the things you love: gardening, playing with your grandkids, dancing at weddings, or simply living independently without help. Every small effort adds up. And the sooner you begin, the more control you'll have over your mobility, your confidence, and your independence for the years ahead. So if you've been putting it off, let this be your moment to take that first step, because your future self is counting on you to move, strengthen, and thrive. Number 4 is something that quietly keeps many people up at night, even more than health concerns: financial stability and peace of mind. After 65, money doesn't stop mattering. In fact, for many people, it becomes even more important. You may have worked your entire life, saved diligently, contributed to your retirement accounts, and made responsible decisions. But even with all that preparation, financial stress has a way of creeping in. The reality is that expenses don't magically disappear once you retire. If anything, they often shift or even increase. Medical bills, home repairs, inflation, rising utility costs, unexpected emergencies, all of these can take a toll on your budget. And when you're no longer bringing in a full-time paycheck, the weight of those financial pressures can feel heavier than ever. Financial stress doesn't just affect your bank account, it affects your peace of mind, your relationships, your sleep, and even your physical and mental health. Studies have linked financial anxiety to increased risks of heart disease, depression, and even cognitive decline. And yet, despite its importance, many people avoid facing their finances until a crisis forces them to. Take the story of Barbara, for example, a 70-year-old retired librarian who had lived comfortably for several years on her pension and retirement savings. She was modest in her spending, careful with her money, and assumed she was in good shape financially. But one winter, her roof began leaking and required a full replacement, costing far more than she expected. Not long after, she was hit with a surprise out-of-pocket medical bill that her insurance didn't fully cover. Suddenly, she was dipping into her emergency fund faster than she'd ever anticipated. What had once felt like security quickly began to feel like scarcity. She found herself second-guessing every purchase, feeling anxious when the mail arrived with new bills, and lying awake at night wondering if her savings would last. That kind of stress affects everything, not just her finances, but her emotional well-being, her confidence, even her social life. The good news is that financial security is not out of reach, even later in life. It begins with clarity, understanding where you stand today. If you haven't reviewed your finances in a while, it's time to sit down, look at the numbers, and get a full picture of your current situation. Assess your monthly expenses, your income streams, your savings, your investments, and any potential future costs like medical treatments or home upgrades. Knowing what you have and what you might need isn't scary, it's empowering. It helps you make informed decisions before a crisis hits. Another crucial step is reducing or eliminating unnecessary expenses. You'd be surprised how many people overpay for insurance policies they don't need, monthly subscriptions they've forgotten about, or services they no longer use. Trimming even modest expenses can add up significantly over time, creating breathing room for emergencies and unexpected needs. For those worried about outliving their savings, consider creative income options that offer both financial and emotional rewards. Many retirees find part-time consulting, freelance work, or even turning hobbies like crafting, gardening, tutoring, or photography into small sources of income, not just to ease financial pressure, but to bring a renewed sense of purpose. And don't forget one of the biggest wild cards in later life finances: healthcare. Medical expenses and long-term care can quickly drain your savings if you're not prepared. Make sure you understand your insurance coverage, consider supplemental plans, and talk to a financial advisor or planner about strategies for covering long-term care costs. Financial peace of mind is about more than just dollars and cents. It's about freedom. The freedom to enjoy your retirement without fear, to spend time with family without guilt, to pursue hobbies and passions without constantly checking your bank balance. When your finances are in order, you're not just protecting your wallet. You're protecting your well-being, your relationships, and your ability to live fully. Because in the end, the true value of financial stability isn't about wealth. It's about the security and confidence to face each day with peace, purpose, and possibility. Number 5 is one of the most overlooked but life-changing elements of a fulfilling life after 65, a strong sense of personal growth and curiosity. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that once you reach a certain age, the most exciting parts of life are behind you. Many people retire, settle into comfortable routines, and slowly stop seeking out new experiences or challenges. At first, this can feel like a well-deserved rest, a break from the decades of working hard, raising a family, or managing responsibilities. But as time goes on, something quiet but powerful starts to shift. The days begin to blur together, and the spark that once made life feel rich and exciting starts to fade. That sense of forward momentum, of learning, discovering, growing, it gradually slips away. and with it goes a lot more than people realize. Without personal growth, life can become repetitive, and when that happens, it doesn't just affect your mood or outlook, it affects your brain health, your sense of purpose, and even your physical well-being. The truth is simple but profound. The moment you stop learning, you start declining. Countless studies have shown that staying mentally active, whether by reading, learning new skills, exploring hobbies, or simply staying curious, can significantly reduce the risk of cognitive decline and conditions like Alzheimer's and dementia. And it's not just about avoiding disease, it's about living fully. Continuing to grow as a person helps you maintain your identity, boost your energy, increase self-confidence, and feel deeply connected to the world around you. Take Thomas, for example, a 74-year-old retired engineer. For decades, his life was filled with problem-solving, innovation, and working with teams. But when retirement came, he suddenly found himself with too much free time and no real challenges. At first, the break felt nice, but over time, restlessness set in. His days lacked structure, his mind, once so sharp and active, felt dull. Then, almost on a whim, he signed up for a beginner woodworking class at a local community center. What started as a casual hobby turned into something deeply fulfilling. He began building furniture for his grandchildren, crafting gifts for friends, and even selling small handmade pieces at a weekend market. More importantly, he felt alive again. That spark returned, not just in his hands, but in his heart and mind. Personal growth doesn't have to mean going back to college or starting a business. It can be as simple as picking up a musical instrument you've always wanted to try, experimenting with cooking a new cuisine, learning how to use a new app or technology, reading books from new genres, journaling your thoughts, exploring new places in your own city, or engaging in creative arts like painting, photography, or writing. Even doing a crossword puzzle or learning a new language online can reawaken parts of your brain and bring new excitement to your life. The point isn't to master something perfectly, it's to stay engaged, to keep your curiosity alive, and to remind yourself that you're still growing, still capable, and still vibrant. And here's something most people overlook: curiosity keeps you young. People who maintain a sense of wonder and learning tend to be more adaptable, optimistic, and socially connected. When you're actively learning something new, you have more to talk about, more to look forward to, and more reasons to get out of bed in the morning. It brings back that feeling of progress that so many people miss after retirement. So ask yourself honestly, when was the last time you challenged yourself to learn something purely for the joy of it? When did you last surprise yourself by discovering a new interest, talent, or perspective? If it's been a while, then maybe now is the perfect time to try something new. Not because you have to, but because you deserve to. Because as long as you're still learning, you're still growing. And when you keep growing, no matter your age, life remains a grand adventure full of new chapters waiting to be written. As we wrap up, let's take a moment to reflect on the 5 essential things you need after 65 to live a happy, fulfilling life. These 5 pillars, a strong sense of purpose, meaningful social connections, physical strength and mobility, financial stability, and personal growth, are far more than just nice-to-haves. They form the foundation for a future that feels rewarding and vibrant. When these areas are in place, each day becomes an opportunity to thrive, to experience joy, and to find meaning in everything you do. But without them, life can start to feel empty, disconnected, and sometimes even overwhelming. The good news is these are all things you can build or strengthen, no matter where you are in life right now. So I want you to pause for a moment and think, which of these areas do you already have well established in your life? And which ones could use a little more attention? Do you wake up every morning with a sense of purpose, ready to tackle the day? Are there people in your life who truly support you, encourage you, and share in your happiness? Are you staying physically active, keeping your body strong and mobile so that you can enjoy life without limitations? Do you feel confident in your financial situation, knowing that you're prepared for both the planned and the unexpected expenses? And most importantly, are you still growing, still learning, and still challenging yourself to explore new things and step out of your comfort zone? If you find yourself lacking in any of these areas, don't wait for someday to make a change. Start today, even with small steps. Every little improvement you make in one of these areas can have a profound impact on your overall well-being, happiness, and health. Whether it's setting a new goal, reconnecting with an old friend, taking a short walk, or reviewing your finances, those actions will add up over time and lead to a more fulfilled life. Remember, the journey doesn't stop at 65. In many ways, it's just beginning. Your next chapter can be filled with growth, purpose, joy, and a sense of community. Life is too short to let it slip by. So, stay engaged, stay connected, and most importantly, keep moving forward. Thank you for joining us today. We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share one thing you learned today and how you plan to use it in your own life. Your thoughts are valuable to us, and reading your comments gives us great motivation to keep creating meaningful content. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, subscribe, and share it with others who might benefit. Your support allows us to continue creating content that inspires and empowers people like you. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.